a special Friday episode of 4333 The Hawk here at the Hawks headquarters. Some of you might be wondering what the heck's going on. 2 episodes of The Hawk in 1 week. Yes, you guys have been blessed. I am joined here not by Comerica, not by Ty's Tent, thank the Lord. I am joined by the one and only Jonathan, a.k.a. Chris Rupty. Chris, welcome in.
How's it going, everybody? So today we have an emergency podcast. We had some conflict within our league. We had a couple guys who were kind of feeling a little slighted, a little excommunicado from the league. They brought it to our attention, and we thought, hey, let's get these fuckers on the pod, and let's get their voice. So let's get it started. Right here we got Logan, or Team Trax.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me.
And we got the newly named Minshew Magic. By the way, I love it. Jackson.
Yes, we changed it this week.
I love that. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. I'm at work all day. I didn't even know that. It's a little mixture of a little Linsanity, a little Gardner Minshew. I love that.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for this new team name. Hopefully it brings more wins.
Right, kind of turning the leaf, getting the new. We've seen that a lot in the league too. I've noticed this year. Little bad juju with one team name, we switch it to another. Seems to be working for most teams, other than maybe Ty's Tent hasn't had the best of luck with that.
That might be quality of team though.
That's true. There's a little bit of that mixed in there. But what we got here for the Hawk, it's not going to be the full hour-long episode. I know some of you might be bummed out on that. We're going to go to some statements by both the one and only Team Trax and Minshew Magic. Then we're going to run through their matchup specifically, give them a little time to talk about their team as well, their draft. Then we're going to go to some questions maybe we had for them as well as they had for us and for the league. Chris, did I miss out on anything there?
No, I think then we'll wrap it up. Like I said, we'll give them a safe spot for them to have their talk with the commission con here. So,
love that.
Let's go ahead and get it started. We'll start here with Team Trax. He's the first one on my list. Logan, why don't you give us a little bit of information about your team? How you felt coming out of the draft, how you feel now, and how you feel going forward.
Sure. I felt pretty good after the draft. Last year was my first year in a pay-for-player draft. So still getting used to that fact and just tried to keep as much money in the bank till later. Felt like I did pretty well. Unfortunately, Melvin Gordon's back, which drops my outlook for Eckler. I feel like overall I'm pretty good. Probably lacking in the quarterback department, but I feel my running backs and receivers are pretty good. So.
And how much I can look at it too here. Odell was your top drafted player, correct, money-wise?
Yeah.
And with that too, I mean, looking at your team, if he's doing anything like he's supposed to be coming into the year, I think this is a scary team.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
started
look
off
a lot better with that.
So if he can kind of figure out his thing.
If the Browns, decide to show up every once in a while, it'd be nice.
Right, I think it's kind of affecting their whole team in a way. Other than maybe Nick Chubb, we really haven't seen. Everyone's kind of had their week. Juice Landry's had his week. Odell's had his week. But they all haven't kind of clicked at the same time. So that you brought up a good point. Not a lot of people have done auction drafts either. There's a lot of last year was a lot of a first time for everyone. I know Chris here. Was that your first time doing that?
Last year. That was our second year doing this. So that was our second year of this league doing it. Because then we have Andrew drafted like DJ.
Correct.
And stuff. So
yep. So
that was my second year of a. I've done other auction drafts for leagues, but never this. Not the competitiveness, but yeah, that was my second year. Like you said, a lot of us haven't had it until then. We kind of just brought it kind of fresh to the league.
Right, so everyone's kind of winging it. Now, granted, we have another year under our belt compared to
you,
Mr. Trax there. So, even after 3 years, some of us don't. I mean, I look at some teams, I don't know if they necessarily even have it figured out yet.
Oh, I'll tell you this. My first year of an auction draft, I went 0-7 to start the year. Yeah, so I know the struggles. I mean, it seems like every year I deal with a lot of injuries, but I mean, I started 0-7, so I mean, you're doing better than me already. Just off that, you already have a win. So
right now, let's swing it over to Jackson. newly named. I'm just going to call you M&M here. What do we think? If you want to make a statement about the team, kind of what you thought about your draft, and kind of where you think your team's at right now.
You know, going into the draft, last year was my first year doing an auction draft as well, and I came out in third place. I thought I played very well. So this year I tried going with the same mentality, maybe go high on a couple superstars, and then see how that works out. And, you know, with Elliott deciding to sign his contract and they made a contract, I felt like he was going to be a top 4 running back this year, so I went high on him. And then same with DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, he's top 3 in the league. He hasn't been doing so hot this year, at least up to par is what I want him to be. But I still think he's got that left in him, and I think he can go off at any moment. But
yeah, the targets are there.
Yeah, as soon as the targets get there, I saw Will Fuller's stat last week, and I'm like, oh my God, why can't they get it to Hopkins, who's supposed to be a top 3 wide receiver in the league?
You got 29% target share. That's pretty high.
Right. And I'm even looking at my boy Eminem's team here too. I think Zeke and Hopkins have both kind of underperformed from what we expect. They're not by any means putting up single-digit points every week, but they're not putting up their 25, 30, what we've been kind of accustomed to seeing from both of these. So even if those two start clicking when I'm looking at your team at 2 and 3, if we get any sort of those big 25-point games from them, that gives you such a better chance of a win each week, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, and then I see Sony Michel, who, he looked magical at the end of the year last year, and then, of course, he booms when he plays me, and that was awesome. That was awesome. But, even him, he's underperformed even. You got pretty lucky with Hooper and Sutton, but other than that, I do see a lot of guys on your roster who you thought would have a better year and haven't quite yet.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I picked my players thinking that they were going to have this great year, and I'm just waiting for the whole team to finally click. Right. I got back in the win column last week, which was huge, but I think he's over these first 5 weeks. I think I haven't scored over 105 points. I've only done that twice this year.
Right.
So it's been low scoring, but thankfully I've come out with at least 2 dubs.
Right. And then if you're big name players, because if you're getting that 25 points from Zeke, 25 from Hopkins there, your team's easily breaking that 105 mark then. So you're just, if you can hold off and go 500 for the time being, 2 and 3, 3 and 4, and then they start producing, I think your team does get, pretty scary when you're looking at it, especially with Austin Hooper as the number 1 tight end right now, and it doesn't look like his production is going to slow down.
No, I don't think so either, which is I'm very excited about.
Right.
Lots of balls going his way. It sucks, too. The gap's going to get even bigger because I don't think Kelsey's going to be performing super high. And Evan Engram's out, too, so that's going to help you look real good in the tight end category.
Right. And if you can have a top tight end where the tight end position really isn't when you're looking through there's 5 tight ends that are legit,
play them every week.
Yes.
Kind of tight ends, yeah.
Putting up big point numbers.
Big numbers.
Big old numbers. I think that gives a huge advantage there. So we got your guys' take here on your teams. Now, I'm going to send it to you guys as well. If there's anything, give us a little information about who you guys are so the league kind of can get introduced to you as well. I know Connor and Eric already know you guys pretty well. Maybe tell the league how you guys got to know those 2 guys or something fun about you guys, or give the league some substance here.
Actually, before we get into that, I want to go back to Logan here. How do you feel about the Devonta Freeman just not playing well this year?
It hurts, especially now that Eckler is, sharing his load with Gordon again. It's disappointing. I think all Atlanta players have been somewhat disappointing, except Hooper this year. So, Atlanta's got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Same with the Browns. So.
Yeah, you're hinged on a couple of guys. Plus, you got DJ coming back. Hopefully, he'll be good. So, yeah. So let's get into that. Let's get into a little bit about you guys. So, Logan, why don't you take it away and give us a little bit of background on you and what the league needs to know about you?
Yeah, sure. So, met Connor, freshman year of college, NDSU, hanging out. Jackson was his roommate, and we were all on the same floor. Then just got to know each other, got to be acquainted, and really liked to hang out. Played cards, played board games, played fantasy together all year, and then decided we wanted to move in together out of the dorms after that, and we needed another person to split the rent. So Con invited Eric over, and it was us four for, around roughly 3 years. Just hanging out, chilling, enjoying sports, enjoying each other's company. Yeah.
Love that. So that was my boy
Logan.
I just know you guys buy like fantasy football team names, so it's always just Trax and Newcomer. So Jackson, give us a little info on yourself.
It's kind of the same. I grew up in the cities here, and when I went to NDSU, Con became my roommate, and to be honest, I feel like I couldn't have asked for a better roommate to start off. Him and I clicked right away, and we ended up moving in together with Logan and Eric, and I don't know if there could ever be like a perfect roommate situation, but it was damn near close to be perfect. We all had the same interests, never really had any issues with anything, maybe a few, but it was always minor.
Oh, let's give us an example. Let's get into at least one of them.
Connor, put your dishes away, damn it.
Did you ever see Boxhead Connor at college?
That was more me. I was the one who never kind of put the dishes away or washed them generally. So that was always me. But
Jackson didn't have any dishes. Let's get this straight.
That is true. That is true.
He had a meal plan all 4 years, so he had like a plate and a fork.
Okay.
I love that.
I mean,
majority of the dishes are probably between Con, me, and Eric, and but I mean the majority of the mess was probably split between Eric and Jackson, I would say.
Agreed.
Is Eric a slob to live with? Is that what we're getting here?
No comment.
All right, we'll take that as a yes. All right, so moving forward, I mean, how do you feel about like your spot in the league? Like you said, we've had some issues. Like we don't talk to you as much. We don't have group chats going. Like, so tell us about how you feel about both your position in the league.
Sure. So, last pod, it was called out that I was MIA or KIA, when in fact I was pretty much just exiled from the fantasy group chat. Felt pretty rough. I'd like to call out the commissioner. Now, the commissioner has done a fantastic job staying on top of just about everything, but I feel he's a little subpar in the communication department. Even though we were booted from the group chat, commission never made us aware of these podcasts or any of the daily fantasy discussion. So, I mean, you can blame him for low viewership, I think.
Right.
And, yeah.
Jackson, got anything to add to that?
I mean, you guys in the last podcast on the hop, you guys did say Logan first, but my name was top two. See, for me, like, Logan has an iPhone now. I feel like I'm personally attacked with this iPhone scenario, having the Android and everything. I don't know. That's just me. I don't know if it's me not reaching out or other people not reaching out. Maybe the commission, maybe not. But I would love to talk more in a group chat, get everyone's opinions, especially if we wanted to do more trades. It would be helpful to be in a group chat than rather like text everyone, and that's why I introduced GroupMe last year, but it seemed like no one liked it, so we kind of got shot down. And then No group chat for me.
I don't know if it's necessarily that we didn't like the group me. I mean, I personally was like one that I hated it. Just because it was another app, another like way to go into, and I never thought of it. It wasn't that it wasn't a good idea. I just never thought of it, and I don't like to have 6,000 notifications on my phone. But I'm all for getting a better way to talk about this. I thought Snapchat would work, but some of us are too old for that, I guess. And I mean, I totally agree. I am all for the communication on trades. I don't know if you've noticed, I am all about trades. I would do a trade every day if I could. So I'm all for that too. Do you guys have any? So I know you talk about GroupMe, but is there any other ways you think we can get communication with you guys to be a little bit more fluent?
Well, I do have an upgrade in phone come Friday, and I have been contemplating on switching to an iPhone.
Problem solved!
I have been contemplating.
I think it's a slam dunk there.
I think
if we go with iPhone, then I mean, it's all settled right there.
Then there's no excuse. You're in it. Because I'll be honest, we were talking in the group chat before, and we did add Logan to our group chat, but we couldn't add you. Like, we literally can't add you because it's already in iChat, and we can't add somebody else like that. I thought maybe we could do a chat if we started a new one. Because, like I had said, that chat isn't just fantasy football. That's like our whole, that's our hometown chat mostly. 65% of that you're not going to give two rats ass about. But, I mean, if you get an iPhone, that's a game changer.
Right.
It is.
Right. I think, too, I was thinking, could we do, Facebook Messenger? Could you do a group on that?
Yeah,
I mean,
I think that's really slow.
Right. I don't necessarily think like Chris kind of said, you don't need to, I don't think there's going to be information that you guys are, I could care less about what they're doing. You know, everyone's going to the friendly Buffalo. Okay.
Yeah,
you guys are going to be like, cool, we don't care. But when the football season is going on, I think there is a ton of discussion in there just about sports. And it sounds like by just talking to you guys now, you're really into sports. So that kind of discussion, I don't think you guys would have a problem with at all. So, I mean, if you do get the iPhone, I think that, first of all, solves a ton of problems. Not to let it try to sway your decision, but with at least the communication there, I think that makes a huge, that's going to help big time.
Yeah, and it'll help with the slander your names. You'll be there, you know? And I don't want you to think, that maybe we dog on you more on the pod, but trust me, we get a daily dose of, shit talk in our chats to everybody. So it's not just you guys who kind of get the brunt of all of it. I want that to be known. Transitioning into this, let's talk about that. Jackson, we already talked about how you took third place last year, and, I mean, you, come in year one, and you really kind of showed out. Not much was said about your team in, a negative way. Team Trax, on the other hand, you came in and you took last place. We had some very suspect things going down in the league. I want to ask you, is some of the slander, is it justifiable though?
I mean, I don't think so. I was last in the league because Le'Veon Bell never showed up all of last year.
I agree.
My top pick, it was a third of my entire quota for money, and I really put a damper on my season right away. After that, I made trades that I thought were just. Some people might call it not just, but I believed in the players I was getting, and I made the trades, and I feel if people didn't like it, they could have beat it. And now I'm a little more skeptical on the trades, so I'm declining a lot more. But it is what it is.
That's not really what we want. We really don't want you to feel that you can't make trades and can't be part of that. That's a whole dynamic of fantasy football that, like I said, I think is really awesome. By justifiable, I'm not saying like you said, yeah, there's reasons why your team was bad, but beyond the point though, your team was still bad. That's what I mean. We were calling a spade. I feel like.
I mean, I guess my team was bad.
It does hurt losing a top FAB guy, or not FAB, or free or draft stock guy. But I mean, there's got to be ways around that, and that sucks. Like I said, I lost Antonio Brown this year on an accidental bid, which is still stings.
Still stings.
So Jackson, moving to you. I mean, you took third place. How did that all? I mean, like, that had to have been pretty sweet.
I mean, it does feel pretty sweet coming in to year one in this league, to get third place. Especially, I lucked out with having like 2 top 4 running backs in Melvin Gordon and Saquon Barkley, I think, and they were just huge out here. They were the guys that put up 20 plus a game that was hoping that would happen this year, but it hasn't been going my way. But I mean, I've been playing, like probably you guys too, I've been playing fantasy for a long time, and I just wanted to prove my worth last year coming in and hopefully I proved that I am a legitimate fantasy player.
Yeah, I mean, I know, like, you were in my division last year, and I was at the top of the division, just looking good because I didn't have any big injuries, and then the whole world came down about week 6. And then you came back because you were the third. I remember this distinctively. You were the third place in our division, and you came back and won it. You beat me. You beat Poe, which for some reason, why is he always in my division? Whatever, but yeah, you came back and you kind of smoked us in the second half. So kudos to you. That was that was pretty nice. That was
impressive.
Comeback.
It was definitely impressive. Kind of put a statement on entering the league. Kind of announced to everyone you were here. And I think we all like to think we're good fantasy football players, in at least from the 10 guys that have been doing this in this league for a while. So maybe we have like high expectations for players new coaches that come in. But I think at the end of the day, when we all look at it too, we're like, okay, a lot of it is luck. Like, if you're good at fantasy football, you're probably just lucky for a portion of it. Obviously, you're still setting your lineup. You're looking at matchups and stuff, and you're trying to set the right lineup. But at the end of the day, there is some luck to be had with that. My question to the one and only Logan here. That trades, I know, obviously, I think you knew it was coming. The one where you made with Mr. Eric Chuba, you gave up my boy Julian Edelman, I believe, and was maybe Mr. Doyle was involved in that as well?
It was Doyle and John Brown for Julian Edelman and Jimmy Graham.
What was kind of the thinking there? Because I know, not me personally, but some other people in the league just said, maybe he's given up on the year, so he's just trading for whatever. And then Eric so happens to be his other roommate from college. Was there anything behind that, or are we looking too far into it?
I think you're looking too far into it. I mean, Jimmy Graham was hot trash last year. I think he's pretty much hot trash this year. And I mean, I'm bottom of the ranks. I got to make moves to try and win games, and my lineup wasn't doing it. And I mean, Eric sold me on his players, so I don't think it was a terrible trade. I mean, looking back, yeah, maybe, but I mean, Edelman could have easily, turned terrible, and it would have been a better trade for me. It just all played out the way Eric wanted it. And, I mean, it is what it is.
Right. So maybe more just overreaction by everyone, which I could see. I mean, 2-3 years ago, I believe I traded Todd Gurley for LaShawn McCoy myself. I didn't get much slack for it, and Todd Gurley turned out to be I think he's 50 points higher than the RB2 or whatever, running back 2 in the league. So maybe it was just something, overreaction. And I guess if you guys aren't in our group chat, maybe then you're not there to defend your own move. So that didn't help as well, I guess. I
think the hardest part was that we had in the group meet a quote from you saying, well, my season's over, so why should I care? That hurts us as a league. I know that was a big kind of a push, was because we're a competitive league. We don't like to see that. So that's where I think you got a lot of heat, and I think that's why you continue to get heat, is just because of that. I mean, was there any truth behind the quote? Were you kind of just tanking, kind of just whatever, I'll just take a trade?
Absolutely not. I mean, I mean, play the way I want to play. I definitely wasn't tanking. I want to win. I've played fantasy since I was like 12. And yeah, I just thought it was a decent trade, got a bunch of flack, and then, it was more of a sarcastic comment because my team was trash, but yeah.
Right. And I guess if we're going to start hating on people for trades, we should start looking at the touchdowns because he is notorious for making.
Thank you, though. I'll take it.
No offense, touchdowns, but the touchdowns has made some. I don't even want to talk about some trades
some trades that make you scratch your head, and for me, make you throw your hands in the air.
Right.
Happy. Jackson, let's get you in here. So you talked about how you maybe wanted to talk about some guys you have on the trade block since, we have a week until you get your iPhone, a week until we get really good communication. You want to talk about some guys you have on the trade block? I'm all for it because I might be shooting you a text later this night then. So what do you got? What are you looking to move?
I'm looking my wide receivers core. I feel like it's obviously not maybe the best, but I feel like it's average throughout. There's depth within there, with guys getting targets and catches and touchdowns as well. But I need to update on my running back situation. Like as you guys said, Sony Michel hasn't been up to par, but I went in this year loving Sony Michel. I still think he can produce that style of play he did at the end of the year last year, but until he does, I'm going to need an upgrade at running back, especially starting Kenyon Drake, who's on the bum-ass Dolphins, who can't do junk. And so I have Kenyon Drake on the trading block and hopefully hope to get a decent running back. I'm willing to add in a receiver with that, and we can talk and see with how everything plays out. And I feel like I'd be willing to get rid of any of the ones besides Hopkins, maybe Sutton, but I could be swayed depending on the running back deal I get back. But I'm looking more like maybe Kenyon Drake and DJ Moore to send out to get a different running back back.
Okay.
But again, that can be all dealt depending on the running back.
I was excited. I don't know if I sent it. I wanted Larry Fitz for a little while. I was messaging. I think I messaged you both Larry Fitz. I was hoping to get him. Couldn't quite get it.
You're on the Fitz train a little bit. Logan, anyone you had in mind on your team that you wanted to kind of get out there to the league that, hey, potentially putting this guy on the trade block?
Daniel Jones, maybe?
Yeah, my quarterback's up for trade. My running backs I'm willing to deal. I think I'm pretty set at receiver, though.
Right, okay. So maybe looking for some sort of upgrade at RB for you?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. What we want to do here, too, now while we got you on the line, is go through each of your matchups for this week, so week 6. So we can start with first my boy Eminem here versus the Rick Rangers. Kind of a rivalry week, I'd like to say. Former roommates, both 2-3, so big week for the two of you. Going to 2-4 is ugly. 3-3, much more respectable. What do we got, Jackson? What are you kind of keen on in your matchup? I know Sony Michel, setting the pace 13-3, not crazy good week, but not a bad week to ruin your matchup by any means. What do you got?
Well, going back to the podcast last night, I overheard you guys saying like if Sony Michel got that 15 points, I could most likely secure a W, and I kind of felt the same way. So I was going hoping he got like the 13-17. He ended up getting 13.3, which for how he's been doing this year, I think that's totally fine for me. I'm okay with 13.3.
Yep.
Going through the rest of my team, Zeke playing the Jets is just if he doesn't score 20 plus, I'll be kind of angry with that one. And otherwise, Hopkins, hopefully he can turn back against Kansas City. They haven't been a stellar defense the last 2 years. I guess I haven't really been looking at Kansas City's defense this year just because, all their offense is all we talk about. Cortland Sutton, he's been the number one guy there. He's getting his targets, but Tennessee's been a great defense this year. I have the Tennessee defense in a number of leagues, and they're a top 5 defense. So hopefully he can do something against that defense. Austin Hooper, you guys said it yesterday. Arizona's been complete dog crap against tight ends, and so I don't expect anything below 15 there. Hopefully Kenyon Drake can come back. Carolina's D, I feel like I picked them up this week. I don't remember, but they were a top 4 defense on the waiver wire, so I'm pretty happy I picked them up. And going to his team, his team has star power all up and down. I don't think Nick Chubb won't do anything this week just because they play Seattle, but everyone else is pretty good. I might be the minority. I do like James Conner. I think he can be good just because Jalen Samuels is also, I think he's hurt now, and so it's not going to be the split carries that they've been doing the past couple weeks.
Oh, yeah, I boomed him this week.
If I had to put a number on it, I do want to win, but I might have to agree with the other two from the podcast last night. I think it'll be close. I think Rick puts up 125, 130, and then I'm going to I'll put up 120 and then just lose by a couple points. That's me personally, but hopefully damn, words are hard. Hopefully I can prove my prediction wrong and pull out a dub this week.
I like it.
Yeah, I picked you last night. I did on the scoop. I think if you could maybe, this is just something to put a little bird in your ear. I don't know if you know listen, but I think I picked him to boom this week. I think if you maybe put him in over Kenyon Drake might be not a bad move, but I don't mind having a running back at your flex spot, especially a decent pass catcher in Drake.
Right. And that's an unbiased take here on the Hawk.
Yeah.
Logan, now you play me because I'm Schrute Farms. This is Mike.
Yep.
You can give me your take here on our matchup. Obviously, maybe didn't start the way you expected or wanted it to, but give us some insight on that matchup.
Sure. Just real quick, I'd like to go back to Minshew Magic's team here. Man, did you get robbed with Sony Michel last night? Tom Brady with 2 rushing touchdowns. Absolutely brutal.
Right. Brandon Bolden, I think, got one in too. Yeah. Brutal.
With a passion.
All right. Anyways, obviously my quarterback did not produce last night. I was kind of on the fence, picking up a new QB. I like Jacoby Brissett. Obviously, he's on bye. And I still have faith in Daniel Jones, so I didn't feel like I wanted to give up another roster spot for QB, even though he was playing New England. So I just decided to ride with it. Obviously, didn't turn out. And Josh Gordon didn't turn out either. He got hurt. Didn't play most of the game, which really hurt. I'm still pretty confident in my team. I feel like Damian Williams go off. He has the potential to go off. That might be a shootout of the game. Austin Eckler. I'm still confident in Austin Eckler, even though Melvin Gordon's back. I think it's more of a Austin Eckler's the number one until Melvin Gordon can prove otherwise. So I'm hoping he gets the majority of the touches. Odell, I'm just waiting for him. He's notoriously a sleeper through the first few weeks of fantasy, and I'm just trying to ride it out. Tyler Lockett has been one of my most consistent players, so obviously he's in there. Saints D, hope they can put up some points against Minshew. And, playing against pretty much the entire Packers is a little bit daunting, but, I think if I had to put in, so I don't think Geronimo Allison is a great pick. I don't know how great I feel about giving you tips about who to start and who to sit. But I think Brandon Cooks is better than Geronimo Allison.
If he's healthy.
If he's playing, correct. I agree with that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Same with, I think Devontae Adams is looking pretty questionable.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm confident in my team, but going how it's going, I don't see me pulling out the W in this one. I would probably I'm hoping I can break 100 this week. I think 105. That's my goal, and I think you're probably going to get right on the ESPN prediction of 115. So just a slight loss for me there, but obviously hoping for the W.
Right. Okay. Now, I got to ask you guys, too. You guys have played fantasy football a lot, it sounds like.
Yeah.
What do you think the number is to get to, and as far as wins go, to get to the playoffs this year, as the league's kind of shaking out with records and everything?
You know, in all the leagues I'm in, it's kind of the same thing. There's like maybe one guy or two at like the 5-0, 4-1 spot, and the one guy at like 0-5 or 1-4. But like everyone's mixed in the middle. And if it keeps riding out like this, you might see a team get in the playoffs that's under 500. You could be 6-7 and make the playoffs if it keeps going like this. If you score points, right. So I hope that certainly doesn't happen because, you being under 500 making the playoffs, that's just not a good look. But if you can pull out a dub with that team in the playoffs, you prove us all wrong.
I agree. So you're thinking there could be, right around that 500 range. That's kind of the mark to shoot for to get to the playoffs?
As of right now, let's see how the next couple weeks go and see if anyone creates any separation. But I do believe that if you're like around 500, you might get that 6th spot in the playoffs.
Right.
Yeah, because right now we're sitting with 4 teams at 4-1. That is ridiculous. Is it 4? Yeah, it's me, Connor.
Yep.
Aaron and Ben, or Comerica Recycling Bin, Johnny, and Potop Column Bottom. All at 4-1. We got Potop Column Bottom and Recycling Bin in the West, in the East with Comerica, and in the Central, it's me standing the only one above 500, and I love that. But it's gonna turn quickly, I think. So, Trax, I want to give you a chance to go back and kind of talk some trash to Sniffer's Row. He has been one of your biggest trash talkers, and he's 0-5. Give him some heat.
Ooh. How do you talk trash when you're 0-5? I'm under 500, but 0-5?
You reap what you sow. Karma always gets back at you. And I think the only highlights of his team are his New England players. So, that hurts. And like I said, Jimmy Graham is hot trash, so his tight end is pretty brutal as well. And I think Connor takes this one by a large margin.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm looking at his team right now, and they could easily go off. I don't know. This is one of the first times I'm looking at his team, to be honest, but I don't know how he's 0-5. That must be some bad juju over there, being 0-5 with this team.
Yeah, I think with fantasy football, you can look at any team and say they could pop off. To me, that's not saying much about a team. But at the same time, I 100% agree with you. But I just wanted to give you kind of a voice and kind of talk some more crap to him because I know he's been one guy who kind of fires some shots. But he did have a really good start. He's got 43 points or 42 points already.
Right.
But Connor only played his defense and dropped 23. So
that New England's D is scary. That New England's D is definitely scary. We're gonna wrap up this week's episode of The Hawk. Kind of throw it to my boy Jackson and Logan. Just if they had any questions for us, or maybe kind of any questions for the league.
I guess I'm going to give you guys a chance to dish some dirt. Who is notorious for attempting terrible trades?
Me. 100% me. I value guys a little bit differently than people. So that's kind of me. I'm notorious for, like, if you're struggling, I'm gonna throw you like a guy who's solid, but I'm trying to get the value here, you know. I've gotten better at it this last year and last year even. So I mean, I've been getting better at it, but I always try to send a trade out, you know. See where you're feeling. I'm a guy with you guys especially. I want to send a trade and get a counter offer or get a text message from you like, okay, let's talk about this versus just like a complete decline.
Yeah, I think when it kind of comes to trades, everyone thinks they send good offers, but obviously when you're sending a trade, it's in your favor. But at the same time, I think maybe Chris kind of Johnny starts maybe with a low ball offer, but he wants kind of a counter back to see, okay, now I get an idea of where you're at with that, then I'll throw you another offer. We'll try to meet in the middle somewhere. So I think everyone's gotten bad trades.
I think Tyler I wish he was here. I'd look him right in the face and tell him. I think Tyler values his guys super, super high. So he's really hard to trade with unless if you can really give him somebody he likes. And then, like we said, the touchdown, his team's for sale, and it's a discount price this year, I guess.
Yeah. And also, I mean, I bet you will all agree on this as well. Everyone seems to send, in the most cases, okay, I'll trade you a couple guys on my bench for one of your starters. You know,
nobody wants to do a 2-for-1 in our league.
No one wants to do. I know, but that's most of what I send is like, okay, it's like two of my guys on my bench and I'm not playing. Hopefully, I'll get a starter. Low end flex, but then expecting to get like a wide receiver 2 or something from someone. So I mean, I'm definitely guilty of it as well. Like I'll be the first one to say I do it, but I'm kind of the same as Chris too. Send me something back. I want to get an idea then of where you kind of value that player as well.
All right.
So
what else we got?
I mean, other than that, we're really gonna, I think, kind of wrap it up here. Unless there's anything else you guys kind of want to say, statements or anything about your team. I think this is a good kind of welcome. Okay, yeah.
Ruffy, how do you feel about getting your first loss last week?
Yeah, dude. You know, I predicted it. I don't know if you listened to the scoop ever, but I predicted it. I predicted another loss this week. It's hard. It sucks because I really like my team. I really like the trajectory of my team. But I mean, like I said, I lost a lot of power. I lost Saquon. I lost Sterling Shepard. I know everybody wants to hate on him, but he's a wide receiver too. I lost Evan Engram. He's battling for the number 1 tight end, and he's a lot more talented than Hooper, but he's battling for the number 1 tight end. I mean, that hurts to lose. I lost Antonio Brown. I mean, I'm losing a lot of guys, and to be 4-1, I said it on the pod, and I said it in our group chat. These last 2 weeks for me to sneak out and kind of be 1-1, I'm very happy with that. I could potentially go 1-3 of these next 3 weeks, but I think in 2 weeks here, my team's going to be kind of back to more of full strength, and I'm a little sour that I lost it, especially since your team, you did well at the end there. It was all back heavy. I mean, Zeke getting that touchdown late, all that stuff. For you to get that late, for me to be that close with how shitty my team played, and then for you to get that late, that did sting actually quite a bit. Even, especially with me being on top of the league, I was so happy. I was the only undefeated team. Besides you guys, I probably get the most shit in our league by far. So it's always nice to be kind of on top of the league and kind of being one of the more contending teams. But this is how last year started too. So.
And I'd also like to point out that the more you know Jackson, the more you know he has a horseshoe where the sun don't shine. So he pulls out those close ones, and he's lucky all the time.
So there's a lot of luck to follow that team. I love that.
I love it, yeah.
Yes.
That being said, I think we're going to wrap up this week, but we do want to extend the invitation to you boys. We'd love to have you on the Hawk for sure. We just do one guest typically a week. Sometimes we don't even have a guest. But if you guys are available Wednesday nights, we'll definitely reach out, get you on the Hawk, get some takes, some boom or bust players as well. Chris, give us a plug on the scoop here. What are we going to expect next week's episode?
Yeah, on the scoop is on Thursday nights. It's usually about game time start. we'd love to have you as well. We'd love to get different perspective. We talk more about fantasy football in general and kind of get away from just the matchups. We talk about players we like, moves we like to see, and then the NFL matchups. To get away from just talking about our league constantly. And we do go over our matchups at the end, but it's a lot less in depth in the Hawk. This is more about a fantasy football show, have a good time, talk about football. And that's usually Thursday nights. We record at about 7 o'clock. But we usually FaceTime, so Jackson, see you in a week.
I mean, there is Snapchat, FaceTime. That could be a thing.
Since me and Doc are in two different places. Doc's in Big Lake, I'm in Winona, and you would be somewhere else. We would have to FaceTime because I do it on my computer and record on my phone.
Oh, that makes sense. I understand.
So we'll see you in a week.
All right.
We want to say thank you, boys, for coming on the pod and giving us your perspective. And like we said, it's nice to hear a different voice and get a voice to the name. And kind of understand your team and get behind behind the scenes a little bit with you guys. We look forward to having more communication with you. Well, get you more part of the league and.
Yeah, and I think the league too, just as a whole, is gonna like to be. They just got introduced to my boy Eminem and my boy Team Trax. So, guys, thanks for being on, and good luck this week. We will be in contact then. Jackson, no pressure with the iPhone, but a little bit of pressure there.
See you on the scoop in a week.
All right. Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
And that wraps it up here for the Hawk. For everyone in the rest of our league, that's Team Trax and that's Minshew Magic. That's the new boys.
We brought them in. We gave you the inside scoop here. So good luck to everybody except for Recycling Bin and Team Trax because they're playing us. So peace out, fellas.
We'll catch you next week.